you'll notice here how we have one of our assignments already created, and it has the background color that matches one of the other categories. So this is what I mean here when I say, choose a lighter color, because if this color is too dark, you're not going to be able to read what it says. All right, so now we are going to begin looking at how to actually use the gradebook, the physical creating assignments, entering grades, and what the different options you have for that are. So right now, we are currently we are in a gradebook and we are ready to create an assignment. We do already have an assignment created here, but we're going to go through all of the different options. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit new, and you need to give your assignment a description. Now, personally, I always choose something specific. Don't just say test. Say test on American Revolution or American Revolution test, Civil War test. That way, if the student is missing something and you've got 18 grades at the end of the quarter, it's a lot easier to figure out what assignment is the student actually missing. So we are going to put test assignment for our name. The next option you're going to have is your grading scale. It's going to be BCPS grading scale because that's the county we're currently in. This option is usually, as you can see, I can't really change it. I only have one option available. This is something that's actually set up by your school district. We're going to choose the category that we want to classify that assignment as. Now, we have gone through, we've made these categories, so now we're just physically telling the system which bucket am I placing this assignment in. So we're going to say this is homework assignment. I'm going to choose the date I assigned it. Now it's automatically going to choose the current date, but you can go back through and I can say this is something I assigned in January. Now, then you choose your due date. And all of these options you are able to change after the assignment has been created, but you want to choose an end date. So we're going to choose Friday, right? Friday the 31st. And then I have two little options here. Max value, that is how many points is this assignment worth? Now, my school requires all assignments to be out of 100 points. That way it's easier for parents to understand what the grades in the gradebook mean. However, that's something that's up to the discretion of your particular school. But whatever value you're putting here, that should always be consistent. And then we get to weight. Weight is how many times am I counting this assignment in the bucket, right? Our categories are our buckets. How many times does this assignment count? 90% of the time, the weight is always going to be 1. Each assignment gets counted 1 time. However, if this is a project that your students have been working on, let's say all semester, and it needs to be worth 2 grades, then you can go ahead and put a 2 here, but typically it's always going to be a 1. Now, there are 2 very cute little check boxes here. You have one that says, is this extra credit? Now, that is a very tempting little box to check. And let me be honest with you that it will mess up your percentages at the end of the quarter. This is how we end up with, a student's grade that is 110 or 120, and then you have to go back and find which little box was checked. We also have this little box here that says, is this a private assignment? Now, this box should never be checked. When you check this box, whatever assignment is, the assignment is, and whatever grade you're currently assigning it to, you can see it, it affects the child's average, but the child is not physically able to see that assignment or that grade in their own personal grade book, which is not fair to the student. So you should never, ever check this box. Now, other options we have back at the top. Now, on our tabs up here, right, this is the first time we've created an assignment. You have a students tab, so it automatically assigns the assignment to every child in the class, but you do have the option to assign it only to 1 or 2 students. The rest of the students will have a gray box that appears for them instead. Now, you have a tab here that says narrative. This is something that you can use to put directions or the description of the assignment. Personally, I use this when I assign papers to my students. That way they have the paper specifications rather than the topic here. But this is not a box that you typically have to use. Please remember that anything you type in this box will be visible to the students. And then finally, you have this magical tab called Classes. Now, this tab only appears the very first time you create the assignment. If you go back in and edit a previously created assignment, that tab just will not be there. This tab allows you to copy this assignment into multiple class periods. And if you are someone like me who teaches the same class multiple times, this is very helpful. I no longer have to create an assignment over and over and over again. So you just hit whichever class period you also want to add this to, a little blue checkbox appears, and then you simply hit save. Now you do have other options here. You have save and new, which it'll pop up automatically another box for you to create another assignment, or you have save and close. So I'm going to hit save and close, and it's going to take me right back to my gradebook grid, and you'll notice that my assignment appears right here. Now, please keep in mind, the system orders the assignments by due date. Now, the due date here for both the assignment that was already here and the one that we just created are both the same day. But because I told this that this assignment was assigned in January, the system assumes that this is an older and earlier assignment, and therefore it should come first. Any assignments I create after this, anything that's due after the 31st, will automatically appear to the right. If I put the due date earlier than the current one, so this is the 31st, so if I put the 29th, then you would see it appear on the left. Now, when I actually go into put grades into the gradebook, you have several different options. You could put a numerical grade like A, and it will automatically calculate as a 90. A is a 90, B is an 80, and so on. Now, if I delete this, and let's say the child actually got a 100. So rather than putting an A, I would put a 100, and you see it calculated here. Now, maybe the student has received extra credit. You do have the ability to put in higher than the weight that we had already assigned to this assignment. So if I put 110 here because they got extra credit, you'll notice this little yellow box that says max has popped up. It still lets me put that assignment in there. It still lets it calculate towards the average, but it does warn me that that is a higher numerical value than it thought I should put in there. Now, you may notice that this is automatically saving every time I move out of the box. Just like when we did attendance, anything I type here does automatically save every 3 seconds. So let's say this child got a B, this one got a 75, and it just keeps saving. Now, if you are trying to put in anything other than like A, B, C, or D, say I put an E here because it's a typo, I get this angry red triangle. The whole box highlights in red because I have done something it doesn't like. And you just go back through and erase it. And it's like it never existed. Now, please be aware, anytime you're typing in here, the system is recording how often you're making changes and what changes are being made. So if I right click on this box, it gives you the history at the bottom that says, these are all of the things that I have changed in this box. This is when I changed it. This is who changed it. All of that is recorded. So if you ever make a mistake and accidentally erase a student's grade, or you typed something in the wrong box, it does record the history of that. Now remember, we right-clicked onto that box in order to get here. There's also this comment box that appears here. You can use this to record any comments, but they will be visible to the student. Personally, I like to use this for my ESE and ESOL students, especially to record what accommodations are being used on a daily basis, especially because most of our assignments are now digital. So it still gives you a platform to label what accommodations are being given on which assignment without having the physical copies. Now, anything that I change here, I would need to hit the update button. And if you put a comment, you'll actually let me do that. So let's say I typed, ELL extra time. My English language learner needed extra time. When I hit update, you now see this little red triangle in the corner. And if I hover over it, it even tells me what was in the box. All right, so once again, we are in the gradebook grid screen. I want to just highlight one last thing for you, and that is the quick grades screen. Now, quick grades, just like your gradebook grid, does offer you a place to put assignments into the gradebook, to record grades, and to make comments about your students' achievement. Now, the gradebook grid view, which you currently see, shows all of the assignments for every student in that class period for the entire quarter. Quick grades, on the other hand, and we're going to go to that by either clicking on the bar on the top of the screen or by going back to the home menu, and quick grades will appear on the left-hand side. So we're going to go to quick grades. And as you can see, I have showing me one assignment at a time. It is showing me every grade for all of the students, but it is only showing me one assignment at a time. If I wanted to switch or toggle between the assignments, I could either hit the arrow keys or the drop-down menu. And just like when we right-clicked on the box to add a student grade, I can use this to type in comments. I can type in grades. All of the same options I had on the previous screen are also here. This is just giving it to me where I am only looking at one assignment at a time.